Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Insights and Analysis brought to you by Akiva. And today on this guided tour of the workshop, I'll be showing off these 5 items. Yeah, I just pulled guided tour of the workshop out of my rear end. In the moment. Yeah, that's great. I don't know, maybe I'll keep it, who knows. Anyways, go ahead and get started. We have a build by... Let me look at my notes here. Dang it. Okay, anyways. We have the Sparrowhawk Scout by Braganator. Surely that's not right, right? That's surely not. Nope, Braganator. I want to make so many jokes right now about the name, but you know what? Let's just move on. Let's not name shame here because it's too easy. It's too tempting. Anyways, this is a Core 1 Level 12 Size Class 1 Reforged Eden 1 and Vanilla build. Although it also says Reforged Eden 2, but I don't know. Apparently it's meant for all 3 of those games. Goal of the build was to be a cheap starter CV, auto miner, servicing, and upgradable. In other words, it was meant to be a multi-role ship that you could use until the end game. I'm adding that after the fact. That you can go take around and serve it. It'd be cheap enough so that you could put it at a base where you have a whole bunch of auto miners on a planet and warp around, pick up the auto miners and service the auto miners. I've seen ships like that. Sometimes what people will do is, I'm on a tangent here. Sometimes what people will do is they'll set up auto miners within a certain system that's not their home system, and then they'll have a main base in that system. So they go there with their large ship, their home ship, or they live out of a carrier, and they come back and then they get a small CV to go around and service all the auto miners, pick up the ores, refuel them, and yada yada yada. And it's a viable playstyle, and it's one I kind of encourage. I personally can't stand auto miners, but I used to do the auto miner route. So yes, this is intended for that, as well as to be a cheap starter CV and a upgradable. And it's also meant to be upgradable. Anyways, back to the actual description and not one of my tangents. For Reforged Eden 1 and Vanilla, you need to install basic CPU extender since the CPU calculations are different. Okay, that's smart. Again, another tangent. I like what they did here. They made it for Vanilla and Reforged, but because the CPU calculations are different for Vanilla and Reforged, they put the onus of installing the CPU and customizing it for the scenario on the player, which is really, really smart because it lowers out the total resource costs. Anyways, back to it. Modeled after Bird Prey. Yes, I like that. I'm not sure if they mean Klingon or Romulan, but you know what? In the Star Trek lore, birds of prey are very, very similar. So I'm not gonna go into that because that's a whole nother tangent, and I've already been on 5 today. It seems like. Anyway, upgrades. While not highly upgradable due to its nature as a cheap starter CV, you can equip this little bird with some additional stuff. There are dedicated space for 2 additional. There's dedicated space for additional CPU extenders, probably. Probably only necessary in RE and Vanilla. 5 turrets, 2 cannons, 5 turrets, 2 manual fires, and either an array of constructors or 1 universal constructor RE2 only. Okay. No. Moving on. You may add various other stations or weapons as you please, encouraging people to make it their own. I like that. I'm gonna skip that part of it. Features: landing pad, side access to the cockpit, 80K main storage, 2 cargo boxes, ammo box, medic station, O2 station, armor locker, toilet and shower, fridge, closet, bed. Okay, so as I'm looking at this I'm noticing a couple of things, and that the description I just read highlighted. You have room for upgrades in here. I like what they did there. Compact shield. RE only. Constructors. Medical. Freezer. Little LCDs to indicate upgrades. Got a bed there. The bed, some of you might be thinking, what the heck is a bed for? Well, in vanilla, you can sleep in a bed. And it advances time. In multiplayer, you can just remove it and replace it with something else. Let's see. Okay, I like that. What I like about this is that you have quick access to the bridge. Really quick access to the bridge. It's got a lot of smart build. The wings are built so that you can put turrets on both the top and the bottom, which I find is really cool. I like how that's built into the sort of bird of prey look. That's really good. Your thrusters are placed in a way where they're gonna... Let's be frank here. The thrusters are placed really cool because of the way the ship is built. But I do like that they are done like this. I do appreciate that. Now, a couple of things you need to remember if you're going to be using this as a starter CV. This is a flying bomb. Okay? It's a flying bomb. So, don't get into combat. And if my hunch is correct... No, it isn't. I was thinking that the hull would be made out of container extensions because that's something that I would do on a starter CV sometimes. But no, it's made out of just steel, which is good. But yeah, you don't want to get into combat with this thing. Anyways, neat little builds. I like the fact that they take the time to think about all the different game modes. Dragonair, I like that fact that you took the time to think about all the different game modes and make it a little bit of something for everyone. Good job. And I also like the fact that you picked a shape that in a style and you made it work and you built the ship around that style. I like that. Anyways, moving on to the next one. Oh, right. The texturing, before I move on to the next one, the texturing on this, great work. Oh, that's cute. I didn't even notice that. I like that little nook that you can access the container controller. Very smart. Good work. Alright, next we have the Viper Frigate version 10. Looking at the notes here for the moment. Okay. The Viper Frigate version 10. This is a build by 11265 KRB. Wait a second, let me check something. Don't make me. Please tell me that this is... Yeah, I already checked that. Okay. Sometimes I forget to double check that something I subscribe to the workshop matches the author name both on the workshop and in the P menu, because sometimes people will re-upload other people's work. That is not the case here. Okay, just that's why I was checking, because I thought I was gonna have to scrap the recording and start again. Anyways, no, yeah, this is the Viper Frigate version 10 by 11265K. Really? My brain's that bad. KRB. Yeah. Now, this is... I'm reading the description, by the way. This capital ship is a level 10 build. It has a large landing pad and 2 smaller ones with a decent sized cargo bay. It has plenty of gun turrets for offensive and defensive purposes. This is a light combat ship, so there are some luxuries that are not built into the ship. You can add crew as money becomes available. I like to swap out the pilot seats and the turrets with the crew pilot. And replace equipment on the bridge and crew operating the equipment. This ship was specifically designed for ease of access and function, and has a detailed interior and exterior. The cargo bay floor has a low profile so that it is hovercraft friendly and when landed on the planet's surface. Okay, so the reason this thing caught my eye is because A, it's long and pointy and has lots of guns. Yeah, I'm a sucker for that. And it also has that utilitarian frigate style that you see in a lot of games. I don't have any of those examples offhand, but anyways, yeah, it caught my eye. And then when I actually looked at it, I saw just how compact it was, and I was like, that's cool. So this thing has a gunnery pilot seat. The interior has actual gunnery seats, like gun balls, or I can't remember what those are called, but I have a feeling you know what I mean. And then you also have like quick entry hatches here. Got the RP here, which is, well, actually that's practical stuff here because the shower you need to decontaminate radiation. You have entry there. A lot of okay, this person does a lot of good work with shaping. I'm just gonna say. I mean, personally, I don't like the use of so much of that texture, but it works here. Yeah, I wouldn't do that differently. Got all your equipment here. Got beds up against the... Oh my gosh, that's cool. He put the beds so that there's an arrow walkway and you can look out from the beds. But on the same time, on the interior, you've got the armor lockers so that... Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. And then ammo container, you've got your ammo containers. And then up here you have your main bridge. And your landing pads for SVs. And in the interior, there is a very, 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 very thin layer that leads to the engineering bay. That's really cool. I feel like I hit my head on that, but that's alright. You've got your generator here. Single generator? Is that enough? I don't know. I have a feeling... No. I know this is built just for vanilla. And it is also built with CPU off. Why do you say it's built with CPU off? Well, it's a sneaking suspicion here. Let me look at devices, okay? Let me just take a look at that. Those are gravity generators. And then you've got... Oh, no. It's not built with CPU off. Never mind, I was wrong. No, it's, yeah, it's definitely made for vanilla. Because you've got insufficient generator power otherwise. Little detail to put this here, that's impressive. The little detail for this array so that it's just sticking out over that. Wow, okay. Obviously a passion project because this is like the 10th version. That and just the amount of detail shoved into this, and greebling, and just shaping that's shoved into this. Yeah, definitely a passion project. Again, that's the Viper frigate Mark 10 by 11 26.5 KRB. I don't know how to say that better. Anyways, next we have a build by Fuji. Again, Fuji's on the list again. Oh, come on. There we go, Alt Tab. Now, this is the faux adjuster. Adjust your foes, but faux adjuster. And again, it's by Fuji. This is enemy decimation at its finest. Happy hunting, captains. That is literally the workshop description. So, this thing is obviously purely a combat ship. Oh, well, I mean, you've got a hangar here, but it's like a repair pad and a hangar here. But it is a combat ship. In this area, I just have a feeling they didn't have anything you wanted to put in there, so you just made a hangar there. Now, if I can use the actual door. Pure combat, pure utilitarian. You've got all your devices, everything stacked up against the wall. Full medical. Got teleporter, repair pad, or repair console for the repair pad, a switch for it, fabricator, fridges, repair station, armor locker. Very, very minimalistic. Oh, the sunken constructors, that's pretty cool. And then in here you've got your utility spaces, all your drive thrusters. That's brilliant. That's just brilliant. I'm kind of speechless here. Just very simple layout. Normally, I would say, why are you putting the fuel tanks right next to thrusters? But these drive thrusters have so many hit points that I'm just like, nah, you're fine. Or these advanced thrusters have so many hit points. I'm like, yeah, you're fine. I do that sometimes myself. The generator in here, though, it being right next to those, yeah, that even if that generator goes, it's not gonna chain react those, so I'm not worried about it. Got your harvest box, ammo box 1, ammo box 2, and harvest box 2. Very nice. Blow something up and salvage it. Take it home, rinse and repeat. Great work, Fuji. Alright, next we have the antenna hold. And this one is by... So the reason I was going off like that is like, antenna hold? Why come up with a better name? And then I realized no, that's actually part of the build, because this person is using antennas as placeholders. Get it? Antenna hold, placeholders. Yep. Anyway, carrying on. There is no workshop description for this one, but it is made by Laughs a Lot, spelled LAFFSALOT. Okay, I like the name. I really like that name. The spelling is also really cool. Well, not cool, but the spelling is really interesting. Now, I haven't actually looked at this beforehand. Oh, that doesn't go outside. Huh. Oh, no, it does. It just goes out to the sides. Okay, that's interesting. Lots of lights in here. Oh, nice. So you've got an RP captain's room. You've got your full medical here. Immediate O2 and heal as soon as you get in the door. I like that. And then down here you have your lounge and hydroponics. So we've got space reserved there for hydroponics. Very, very nice. This stuff is enclosed in here. That worries me. that really worries me to have like a generator and a warp drive, which are two targetables next to like your shield and your Pentax tank. Usually I separate those items out because you don't want anything targetable next to your shield generator or your Pentax tank, because like if the warp drive goes, then well, that's not great. But if your Pentax tank goes too, then well, there goes your fuel to get out of there and recover it, even if the warp drive gets blown up. Yeah, that worries me a bit. Anyways. I am wondering if this is just meant to be a starter CV. In which case, everything I just said shouldn't really worry me about this, you know, because it's a starter CV. Yeah, it is just a starter CV meant to move you around. Okay, so it's not bad. I don't know why that was open, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Yeah, neat little ship. Huh. I like the use of like placeholders for the hydroponics, because if you played this game and you're trying to get off the starter plant and you want something that has hydroponics in the blueprint, and you're trying to get the resources to craft those in addition to the actual starter CV that you're trying to get off the planet with, it's a pain in the butt. And so anybody who just leaves an open hole and clearly visible that you're meant to put crops there, thank you. You saved me you've saved me a headache. And I salute you for it. So what originally caught my attention with this was the shaping and then the use of textures to accentuate, or not accentuate, accent the build. And then usage of antennas here. I thought that was really cool. And it caught my attention because it's just something you don't see very often, okay? Simple as that. Anyways, that was, no, that wasn't the last build. We've got one more build here. And this is let me look at my notes. This is the T-Rex 2. And it is made by Phil49. Now, this looks like it reminds me of a stand build. But I checked, I'm just saying this up front. It reminds me of a stand build, so I wasn't 100% sure about it because the texturing and the coloring is similar, as well as some of the shaping. But I checked the creator down here, and this matches the workshop. And I couldn't find... I'm just not sure, okay? I'm gonna give this creator the benefit of the doubt because I checked. I did my due diligence here. I checked, and I made sure that all the information matched up. And who knows? It could have just been built in the style and the color palette that Stan uses. I don't know. I'm gonna give Phil here the benefit of the doubt with this, because, well, hold on. Let me actually look at the workshop here for a second. I'm just gonna go to his workshop. Nope, definitely looks like he built up to... Huh. Yep, definitely looks like he built up to this. Built up to... Yep, definitely, yeah, he definitely built up to actually creating ships that look this good. Okay. Huh, okay. Anyways, back to the ship. Little freak out there a little bit. I mean, I could be wrong still. I still could be wrong. Anyways, so the reason should be obvious why this caught my eye. a lot of good shaping. You've got some different use. How do I want to say this? There's a lot of good shaping in here, and I like how it transitions from angular shapes to rounded shapes. Now, personally, I'm not a big fan of rounded shapes, but they are done well here. And I also like how you have a lot of like fins. Gosh, I need to stop saying that word. I really enjoy the aesthetics of how many fins it has, and then the usage of the deco blocks. That's really cool. Okay, I quite like that. Now I'm gonna go around this once more. It does have an internal where you have some passenger seating, so it can be used as a drop ship. You've got your O2 oxygen things there, and then there's a tiny little hole to get to the cockpit there for some reason. I don't know what utility that offers. Interesting. You have your containers down here, and then you have your container controller there too. That's cool. And then you've got a fridge there, and then you've got your little... That's not a storage box, that's the mobile constructor right there. And then in front of this is the Pentax tank, which is right next to the warp drive. No, there's a CPU in between it. But that does bring me to some of my feedback of this. I am a bit worried that you have your cockpit and your warp drive and a CPU component, might I add, right at the nose of the ship, because that's going to be the first thing that takes fire, and you're going to lose CPU, and the generators are going to overload, and bad things start happening. I believe this is just meant to be an armored transport rather than an actual combat ship, and that the guns on this thing are just meant to defend it against drones and ground troops. That's it. I don't think this is meant for any sort of POI assault combat. It's meant to be escorted by other heavier fighter craft, or the enemy defenses have been dealt with. It still gives me a little bit of pause, because a couple of laser troop Zyrax and one with a rocket launcher can give you a very, very bad day. So yeah, it does worry me a little bit, but I see how it was done with the design constraints and the need to have a troop carrier that was warp capable and still keep a shape, but it still worries me a bit, okay? A smart, competent pilot, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but if you've got somebody who is like, a lot of those YouTube streamers that are gung-ho, don't think before they act, and a lot of those type of players and streamers, then, yeah, you're gonna have a bad day. Anyways. That is going to be it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting that like button. But what I would really appreciate is that if you go down into the description, and there'll be a show more button, and there'll be a link to each one of these workshop items. Go there. Give each one of these, if you like any of these, go to the workshop description below, their workshop link. And make sure to give it a like, make sure to leave a comment saying that you like it, and support them. Like I don't mind if you give me a thumbs up and say good job, Akiva, but what I would really appreciate is if you go to their workshop through the links I will post below and let them know that they did a good job, okay? Because that's why I'm here. I'm here to make sure that excuse me, brain no worky. I'm here to make sure that people that make things for the workshop and they put their time into it and they make creative items and I make sure that they get seen. I want them to be successful and get the appreciation and validation for what they do. I get too many complaints of people saying that, oh, I put something on the workshop and it's only got, the first interaction I saw was downvotes. Yeah, there are trolls on the workshop that will just literally just randomly downvote stuff. Nobody deserves a downvote, okay? Well, unless you're... No, I'm not gonna dig myself a hole there. But I think you understand what I mean here. Like, some people do really, really dickish things on the workshop, such as reposting other people's stuff, or worse, reposting somebody else's popular item and not, and making some, okay, no, let me say that again. Reposting other people's shit without their consent pisses me off. And people that do that, they deserve downvotes. However, if they repost somebody else's stuff and don't give credit where credit is due, I typically don't downvote that, but I will leave a comment saying that please give credit where credit is due, because that's really despicable. And so when I say that nobody deserves a downvote, there are caveats to that. But anybody that has spent their time and built something in this game and dared to publish it on the workshop for the world to see doesn't deserve a downvote. Okay. Anyways, I went on my rant there. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Make sure to support these creators. And I will see you guys next time.